I'd like to start this panel by framing it in terms of AI literacy. So there's this paper that was actually published by Ng et al. In 2021, which actually links the Bloom's taxonomy with AI literacy. And you can see that on the top, it actually ties with developing your own GenAI applications. And I have with me here many of our colleagues, faculty and staff who are actually doing so.
WAAI is a design thinking brainstorming web app that was developed for CC 111 students inspired by the way STEM students learn in a sequential manner. As such, the structure of the app is shaped around an iterative process that allows users to move back and forth as they test out concepts for their assignment by following a series of design thinking stages. WAAI emerged at a time when most writing apps focused on the editing. This is not the central objective of WAAI. So to support the writing and thinking process, WAAI includes a unidirectional GenAI chatbot to nudge students to move from more factual informative writing to prototyping and exploratory argument that is initiated by a research question. The chatbot, which we have named a nudgie, nudges users by providing personalized feedback where there is potential for deeper exploration through pre-designed prompts.
I instruct a course called MS0003, Introduction to Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. Ironically, we are developing an AI chatbot for this. It's currently deployed for the very first semester, and we are undergoing student outcome studies right now. Imagine splicing the two instructors together, myself, Leonard, and Kedah. We came up with Professor Leodar. In case you ask why he looks like that, we basically took both our pictures, uploaded it into DALL-E, and then said, can you spit out something that's a splice in between us? And that's it.
Hi everyone. I'm Professor Leodar. This is what happens when you splice Professor Leonard and Professor Kedah together in a package. Ha ha ha. Just kidding lah. I know I sound super weird. I'm here as your newest helper for MS0003. How to explain certain concepts in class and even example code.
The fun thing about it was we actually managed to program a personality into it. It turned him into something a little bit more personable. So we actually got it to have a sense of humor as well.
Here's a good joke. Why are trees unlucky? 'Cause they sway.
Unlike ChatGPT, it actually produced more accurate information, and this is through a process known as retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. If you can look at this little flow chart over here, the real reason why we're able to give more accurate answers and things that are more applicable to the course is really number 2, where we actually put in a whole corpus full of data, textbooks, 20 over textbooks, course slides, and we actually have both static and active information. That means we put in textbooks and we also update it with things like CA dates, things like announcements, and students were able to essentially quiz Prof. Leodar on any kind of administration that will usually take up a lot of the instructor's time.
So Chat Anatomy is collaboration between digital learning and of course our anatomy team. So what it does is, what we really want to do is to help the students answer questions independently, and they don't have to really go back to the lecturers or the professor all the time. And the idea is really not just to get answers, but also to get answers that are correct, that are properly curated. Because anatomy itself is a very visual subject, so we want to answer those questions with some visual. Currently, we already have an app that can do AR kind of visualization that you can actually, we use photogrammetry to project, to take all the different vaccinated models and then put them into 3D model. So we actually structure the 3D model and embed it into our answers. And with the references itself, we are able to take out which part of the model that the students are referring to. I mean, which part of the models are the answers going to be relevant to.
I'm Haidt for Center for Innovation in Learning at NIE, and I'm here to present Alex. Alex is a generative AI tool for faculty. Why is this important to us? Mainly because we know that in NIE and NTU, when we design courses, there are many frameworks, pedagogies, instructional strategies, competencies that we need to think about when we design these courses. instructional design trained folks like myself and my teamies do this day in, day out. But we were trying to imagine what is it like for faculty who's going to teach, research, do a bit of admin work, as well as design your courses. What kind of help do you need, right? But I just wanted to highlight that Alex is not something that we created because ChatGPT came about, right? It's about 10 years of work, of thinking of how to solve this problem whereby faculty who need to design courses and submit these courses as part of a BOS paper, how can we help you at that stage? Maybe then we should design something to embed it as part of their workflow. What is the inner workings of Alex? For Alex, we emphasize on one thing. We emphasize on human-AI collaboration. We are encouraging faculty to use Alex as a cobot, right? Like someone you can collaborate with.
For our chatbots, it's designed to bring on a persona of a Socratic tutor. If you the student asks a question to the chatbot will actually give you the student some answers, but then you'll always come up with a follow-up question. And based on the student's answer, if it is correct, then the chatbot will actually give affirmative and prompt the user with another question. If the answer from the user is actually wrong, what you'll notice is that it would then give corrective feedback and then ask the user to actually make a second guess. So with all this data that we're actually collecting, we are also in the process of developing one for the faculty. Since we have all the conversation histories, that we can actually help faculty understand what conversations that the students have with the chatbots. It will give you some breakdown of what the students have actually been asking, perhaps throughout the week. And then you always come up with some follow-up questions which you can ask. So if you're interested in those questions, you can ask, or alternatively, what you can do is that you ask your own questions. If you notice that just now the topic itself is actually on statistics, and actually we work very closely with one of the faculty in NBS, Shamini, who actually teaches an introductory statistics course. Basically, it's traditionally known to be quite difficult. 90% of the students actually requested for tutoring support. And in these kind of cases, perhaps it's worthwhile investing in a tutor board so that students, they can actually get personalized feedback for their own issues or questions. The reason why we wanted to build ourselves and gather all this data is to give back agency to the faculty. As I mentioned, that you now have a means to actually know what the students are actually asking, and then you can make use of this information to actually plan your class.
I'm leading a small team in CITS. I'm actually leading the data services team. I got 2 lines of business. The first line of business is basically managing all the databases in NTU. The other line of business actually is data infra. We built it since 2019. It started off with the problem statement, say, where shall we pull all our data sources? You know that we have all the data in Oracle database. We got some silos, CSV file right inside your desktop. That's the time we bring in a software called Leonard. In November 2022, the GenAI came out. So CITS very actively, proactively engaged all the cloud vendors. We brought in AWS, we brought in Azure, we brought in the major vendors, came to NTU. If you wanted to try, we have a sandbox. Anyone with the interest to building something on AWS for GenAI, do approach us, right? CITS, together with Alice, we will help you to kickstart.